Hi students, today I'm going to talk about boring Baroque bullets, but that's not actually true. They're not boring at all when you really understand the terms and the sounds. Because when you understand the terms and the sounds, several things can happen. One, you really understand what those composers were trying to do. And that's really important for when you're studying people that lived a long time ago. The second reason it's so amazing to learn these terms and get the sounds of the Baroque in your head are because when we get to the classical era, there's going to be the same sounds, the same terms, except a little bit different. And so when you get to the classical era, you'll be able to understand more fully the similarities and differences between the Baroque era and the classical era. So let's get started. We're going to go through PowerPoint slides. So I have my little note sheet here that I'll be looking at. Hopefully in front of you, you've got your pencil and your paper, and if you have a device, another one, you can get the PowerPoint slides up there. By the way, no worries, I'm not going to go through all the PowerPoint slides. Oh my gosh, I don't have time for that today. Today is absolutely huge, so I'm not going to do that. We're just going to go through a few of these PowerPoint slides. So the first slide is number 6. And on number 6, you'll see on your left, you will see the vocal forms, and on the right, you'll see the instrumental forms. You need to understand those 6 terms. All of those are very important to understand Baroque music and also classical when we get to it. All right, slide 20. Be familiar with the difference between opera, cantata, and oratorio. So in and around all of these, slide number 20, just look at those slides, get them in your head, get the terms in your head, get the sounds in your head. Slide number 22, dance suite. Now, this is not a sweet, yummy thing that you eat for dessert or eat while you're in your car and you're stressed out about school and you have a candy bar. This is spelled differently. It's spelled S-U-I-T-E-S, sweet, dance suites, in other words. And so instead of thinking of the word suite, you could instead think of the word series. It's a series of dances. That's what a dance suite is. So get those sounds in your head as well. Slide number 27. Sonata, if I remember right, stands for the word sound. It's just another word for sound. A solo sonata has one main instrumentalist and then the basso continuo. And if you remember, basso continuo has a low line that's played by a cello or a bassoon, and then it has several filler notes played by someone with fingers. It could be an organist, or it could be a harpsichordist, or it could be a lute player, because a lute is like a harp, and they can play several notes as well. And so that's what a basso continuo consists of. The basso continuo, those, 2 or 3 instruments, are only used for accompaniment. So that group of instruments is an accompaniment that accompanies the soloist on a solo sonata. Now, I am talking really fast, so obviously you can rewind this and listen again. Maybe I should talk slower. A trio sonata has 3 groups. Oh my gosh, 3. There we go. Oh, I have to get used to these videos. Anyway, they have 2 instruments. 2. There we go. Gosh. They have 2 instruments with a basso continuo. And again, if you have 2 instruments and you have, 3 or 2 basso continuo, then you actually have more than 3 instruments. And trio means 3, right? But look, I have 4 fingers up. Or if I have a basso continuo using maybe 3 instruments, 3 plus 2 is 5, that's not a trio. So think of it this way. You have your 2 instrumentalists that are playing the most important part, or the highlight, I guess you could call it, of the sonata, and then you've got this group of instruments over here. So we have 1, 2, 3. I hope that makes sense. When I was in music history class, that did not make sense because nobody explained it that way to me. And now I'm happy because I understand it. All right, sonatas have contrasting movements. Usually it's fast, slow, fast. So fast, slow, fast. They usually have 3 movements in the Baroque era. Links. Okay, I want to talk to you about the links. At the top of this slide, we're on slide 27. On the top of the slide, you'll see Maurizio Cazzati, and you'll see a link. It's the wrong link. I don't know why, but it's the wrong link. So I tried and tried to fix it, and I finally gave up. There's a longer way to fix it, but I don't have time to do the longer way. And so either search for another link. What you're looking for is Maurizio Cazzati, and it's a Ciacona. I think it's spelled Ciacona. Ciacona is how you say it. Anyway, so probably I'll send you an email with a link, with the correct link, because I really like the link that is on there. In fact, I will. Let's just do that. Let's just assume I'm going to send a link, because I want you to notice when you look at this Maurizio Cazzati, his piece called the Ciacona, I want you to notice that there are two violins with a basso continuo. And the basso continuo has two instruments, a lute and a harpsichord. At least that's pretty much what I remember, which would make it a trio sonata. So in other words, okay, so you have your two violins, and then you have your group of instruments, which is the lute and the harpsichord. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, going on. At the bottom left, you'll see Vivaldi, and there's a link for his. Notice on that one, you have one soloist, which is the violinist, and then you have a cello, which is the bottom part of the basso continuo, and then you have the harpsichord. Again, you have your fingers playing the top. Yeah. When you look at the Corelli link, you'll see two violins. So automatically we know it's a trio sonata. It's not a solo sonata because it has two major instruments that are the violins. And those are the upper lines. And by the way, the Corelli is a picture of the music, so it goes along with the music. And when you see the very first, it says violino or something. And anyway, it says it in Italian. So you have your two cello lines, and the bottom line says that it's a cello and organ. Well, the cello actually plays what you see written on the music, but then you see these numbers underneath. So underneath the whole, 3 lines of music, you will see numbers that are stacked up. Sometimes it'll say 6/4, sometimes it'll just say 6, different numbers like that. That tells the organist, with the fingers, how to use, what filler notes to use and what configuration of filler notes. In other words, what notes to play. That's how they did it in Baroque. It's called figured bass, where they have these numbers underneath all of the staffs of music. And it's called figured bass. We're not going to go into figured bass. Suffice it to say that those little numbers tell the organist or the harpsichordist what notes to play. And then they can even add in more notes if they want. Hope this makes sense. If not, oh my gosh, FaceTime me, text me, email me. Absolutely. You've got to understand this stuff in order to understand the classical. You don't have to understand figured bass, though. Just saying. We're not going to go into that. Now, let's go to slide 28. Slide 28. The main thing I really want you to understand about this slide is that a concerto is in a big space, like an auditorium or a concert hall. A sonata was for a small space, like a living room, like I have here, or maybe a small church or a chapel, or maybe a little cathedral. Oh, they're not little. That's why I stopped, because cathedrals are kind of big. So it depends on the size of the cathedral. I've been in several in England, and in my brain, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the one in Salisbury was such and such big versus small. And then the one in Lincoln, was a little bit smaller. And I'm sure Westminster Abbey is huge. Yeah, sorry about that. Suffice it to say, a sonata is in a small space, like a church, a chapel, or a living room. And you'll see there you have sonata di chiesa and sonata di camera. I think it is. I don't think it's camerata. I just think it's camera. You will know when you look at the slide. Okay. Watch the links. I don't have time to do assignments on every single PowerPoint slide. please, please, please watch the links. They're so interesting. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but at least watch some of it because they're so beautiful and interesting. And then you can really understand who the composers were and what they did. And that brings me to the test. We're not having a test. We're having 2 assignments that take place of the test. And the whole test is all about composers. Let's see. Let me explain the first one quickly. The top 10 composers of the Baroque era, those just have 10 composers. My PowerPoint slides have other ones too. And between the PowerPoint slides and the article, find 3 composers that you really, really like, and then go to the discussion board after completing the 10 composers assignment. Go to the discussion board and be prepared to talk about what is interesting to you about 3 composers that you like. So pick 3. And you can pick them, like I said, off the PowerPoint, off the 10 composers list, or you could even go to Google and look up Baroque composers and just look at some of the music on some of these if you have time. You might have time because you might not be working right now, which is a tragedy. Oh my goodness. If you guys aren't working, I'm super concerned. But if you are able to work, super be careful. Yeah, because we're in the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic now. One more thing I want to tell you. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And you could do some studying while you're listening to this. Look up on your well, probably will be on the email with what's it called? What's his name? Maurizio Cazzati. Remember that email I'm going to send you with the correct link. Look up the mix. So it says mix hyphen Maurizio Cazzati, and there are 50 videos. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I wonder if I could show you this. Yeah, whoa, can I? I'm trying. Okay. The very, very bottom says Maurizio Cazzati. So, yeah, you want to be able to look those up. Anyway, enjoy your day. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I hope you have some downtime. I hope you have some fun time. And I hope you have plenty of time to get your school into your head so that this semester won't be just a complete wash. And I care for all of you. And I want to say goodbye. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.